What's going on, everybody? Dylan Napoleone here in New Britain, Connecticut, Heavy Hitters Club. Today I am joined by the undefeated, number 4 ranked BKFC heavyweight, gearing up for his next fight, his first fight of 2026 in just 10 days, Porter. Parker, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. How's everything with you?
Been good, man. I appreciate the time. Thanks for having me up here just 10 days away from fight day. I really do appreciate it.
Of course, man.
I know you're getting close, bro. Talk to me, another main event at Mohegan Sun, man. How excited are you to do this again, you know, compete in front of your home fans and home state? It's just another...
It never gets old. It never gets old. I love being able to be in the hometown crowd. I love this sport at this point. You know, like I kind of fell in love with it after the first fight that I had with them back in February last year. You know, I just love it more and more. The company's been awesome. You know, everybody's really takes care of the fighters. And then, of course, being at home, you know, having a family, having my own small business, not having to travel quite so much, it makes things that much more enjoyable. Yeah. And then, of course, I'm just loving to go put on a show for everybody like we did last time.
How could you not, bro?
Yeah.
I have to say, man, I can tell you've been loving your career, I'd like to say more than ever, maybe.
100%.
Right? How happy are you with the way everything translated into BKFC? I think in our last interview you were telling me you didn't really have any expectations going into your first fight, but here we are, number 5. This is your 5th BKFC, right?
Fourth BKFC.
Yeah. So now you know everything. Last time you went out there, you were in one of the hardest, grueling, you know, scrappy fights I've ever seen in BKFC. So your understanding of the sport, I'd like to say, has probably changed, right?
Significantly, yeah. I have a little bit more of a strategy behind how to tailor my training a little more specifically to everything. Whereas the first couple of fights, I was like, all right, I got to do more boxing and shorten up the rounds and keep the intensity and the speed up. But now I'm figuring out more adjustments with the strength and conditioning side of things, and just overall strategy from one guy to the next. And it's been great. You know, I love it more and more. The more I kind of explore it, it's almost like the first time I got into MMA, where everything was so new and exciting. And I got to learn again. So I've always considered myself a student, lifelong, no matter what. There's always something new to add to your game or something to learn. And I feel like everything is kind of brand new, or I'm able to tweak things in a completely different perspective.
Yeah. Absolutely. And speaking of your training, today I just walked into the gym. It's you and Guilherme Viana who are both preparing for fights on this card. I know you guys have been training consistently for months now, but just talk to me about the addition of a guy, another heavyweight, competing in the same rule set, you know, and just that you guys, I was talking to earlier, and BKFC, it might be a little different to find training partners, because even if you are sparring with a bigger dude, he might not be thinking the same way as you in terms of the rule set and stuff like that. But now you got him, you guys are chiseled, thinking the same thing. How is that? It's
been great. You know, I've known Guilherme for over 10 years now, and we started training MMA together when we were both training out of Glover Teixeira's gym. And then, you know, like, distance-wise, we just weren't able to link up, and he has his own school. We started cross-training, and then he got into the BKFC shortly after me, and now having the both of us on that same page, you can't beat it, man. Like, one of the biggest issues I had early on in my career was finding other big guys to train with. Let alone guys that were on the same skill level, let alone guys that were on the same commitment level, or just any of that, you know. So it's been a true blessing, and to have it be somebody who's as good of a guy as he is as well, and have that friendship on top of everything, it's incomparable to anything else.
And further than that, you guys have linked up some of your students, and now they're getting better work too, which is super cool, you know?
Cross-training is an essential piece these days. You know, like, I think in the beginning, a lot of people need to stay home more. Some people start cross-training too soon, where they haven't developed enough of a foundation. But once you have that foundation, having good relationships with other gyms in the area, being able to go and spar and get different looks from different guys, it's a great way to expand your skill set.
100%, dude. I want to throw back to your last fight back in December for just a minute. I know you're getting ready for a fight in just a week or so. But man, a lot of people deem that as the best main event, best fight of BKFC history. Talk to me about your takeaways from that fight back in December.
So I'm beyond proud to have that kind of notch in my belt, so to speak, to be able to be a piece of history.
Yeah.
In a sense where I know people are going to be talking about that fight for years to come. But also at the same time, I'm like, I didn't display what my actual skill set. I allowed myself to kind of get pulled into a pissing contest and get into a brawl. And thankfully, I was tough, I managed to pick myself up and just keep going. And that's just who I am by nature. So I'm extremely proud to be, etched in the history books in that sense, but I'm also like, man, I can't let myself get sucked into that kind of contest all over again. I'm better than that.
Definitely. No, I could definitely understand that.
Yeah.
But how about, there's got to be some positive too, because like BKFC is a different sport, and to go through a fight like that, I feel like that's about as dirty and scrappy, grueling, however you want to look at it. That's about as crazy as it gets. But to be able to go through that and know what that's like, and I feel like that's something that could help you as you get closer to a championship fight. Like just the experience, and you've been there. You know what it's like to drop someone and get it right, take one right back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think. The amount of experience I gained in that one fight was, probably the equivalent of what a lot of guys gain over the course of 3 or 4 fights.
Yeah.
And just obviously having that, confidence in my back pocket of just being like, I'm going to get back up no matter what. You got to kill me to stop me. You got to knock me out cold to stop me. I'm going to get back up and keep going. And then, of course, being able to just put that on display for my students, my members, my friends, my family. Showing my sons, that, like no matter how many times you get knocked down, whether it's in the ring or in life, pick your ass up and keep going. Because that's how it gets done.
Yeah.
Like you can't stay down. You got to get up if you're going to change anything.
Yeah. And the other thing is, like, I'm talking about championship fights. I know this fight right here coming up is one that I feel like can get you very close. And I know you're not looking that far ahead just yet, but do you, like, champions, guys who have been in BKFC for quite a while, like they've probably experienced similar things, like that crazy fights, or at least getting dropped and having to worry about getting back up and continue fighting. Like that's something that can carry some real experience that can carry you far in big fights, I feel like.
Absolutely, I think so. And I think it's going to make people a little more wary of wanting
Parker's
to brawl.
Tough, he'll get back up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's more of what I'm talking about.
That's always going to be kind of sitting in the back of their head.
Yeah, like you ain't going to stay down. You know what I mean? Let's talk about this fight again. I feel like you're the driving force of BKFC in Connecticut. They've been coming to our state consistently the past couple months, shows, every couple months or so.
Yeah, and they had the December show, and then they had the quick turnaround 4 weeks later. They were right back in January with the Julian Lane versus Dustin Peg card.
And here we are.
And now here we are back again in March, where I'm going to be headlining that one again.
Nobody has headlined more of those shows than you, and I feel like you're the driving force of this growing BKFC culture here in Connecticut. You're the guy who's fighting in all these main events, taking on the hardest fights, putting on the most fun fights, all of it. You are the Connecticut guy, if you ask me, man. And I know you want to be more than that, of course. But what does it mean to be able to do this and really drive this force in Connecticut? Because before all of these main events that you were in, there wasn't a Connecticut guy. You know what I mean? There was Brennan Ward, but unfortunately he's hurt right now. And
which I hope he makes a really quick and speedy recovery. I've seen some clips that he's back to training a little bit, so I hope we see him back in action at full strength.
Me too. I want to see both you guys on the card again.
Appreciate it. But yeah, it just it's a lot. Like I put the weight of my state, my New England in general, like I want to represent for us. We've always been, a deep talent pool when it comes to combat sports, and I feel like a lot of times we get kind of overlooked because the culture is just not as strong as it is in other parts of the country. And I'm really trying to help show that, like this is a great sport. It's tough, it's brutal, it's violent, but at the end of the day, everybody that trains in it is usually a good person. Like of course there's always outliers everywhere you go in every set of every law of averages, but being able to train martial arts first and foremost, and then to be able to apply those skills I'm really trying to bring that culture out more to people and say like, hey, it's a good thing to train.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm not trying to encourage people to go out there and get in scraps in the street nonstop, but like go test yourself. It'll show you what you're really capable of, and that level of confidence that you're going to achieve from that is going to carry over into every aspect of your life. It's going to create a tremendous amount of respect for other people as well. Like come out and support everybody that's trying to do this. That's the biggest thing is we're here for you guys. We're not, a bunch of thugs, Neanderthals, criminals. We're regular. I got 3 kids of my own. I got a small business. We're trying to be active in the community and build a good, positive culture around this BKFC brand.
Yeah. The fighters are doing their part and spreading this culture and creating this culture. The only way that we can support them in return is to buy these tickets, show up to their fights, and Connecticut's been doing a good job of that lately. So I hope to see a ton of people there on March 28th. I mean, man, you've been driving people into Mohegan Sun the past couple of fights. Like, you've been packing that house pretty well, dude.
I think this is going to be my 9th fight overall because I fought I fought a Bellator 2 times there. I fought Reality a couple times there, and now this is going to be my 4th BKFC fight.
I wonder if
3rd one headlining it.
I wonder if you have the most fights out of any fighter in general, all disciplines at Mohegan Sun.
I might. I think the next contender might be Brendan Ward if he's not ahead of me because he fought Bellator there a bunch of times as well.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too. Let's talk about the matchup a little bit. We can't go without that. March 28th, you're taking on Hayes Wilson. I know this fight was rebooked, at least a few times now, right?
Yeah. The original opponent was supposed to be Josh Watson, and he had some complications that came up that unfortunately kept him out. And then we were talking about Josh Copeland because that was supposed to be the original matchup in December. And he had some family issues that came up. And then now it's going to be Hayes Wilson.
Who's a tough guy too, like a guy who can put.
That's a prerequisite for anybody that's in this sport. You got to be tough. You know, whether you know that you are or not yet is something to be said. But something to be found out, I should say. But anybody that's actually signed with the BKFC and is about to do an event, they're like, you got to be tough. You got to be a little bit crazy, just enough. And of course, being a heavyweight, there's always a potential for everybody's got a puncher's chance, So I'm feeling really confident about this matchup. But I'm never overlooking anybody. I'm never looking past. I got my sights dialed in. My crosshairs are pinned right on him 100% right now. And I'm not even thinking about anything after the fact, other than the fact that I have a vacation schedule finally with my kids.
Where are you guys going?
We're going to be heading down to Orlando. It's going to be nice. Yeah,
awesome.
First spring break trip that we've had. Everybody's schedules lined up with all the school vacations because my wife is also a teacher, and her spring break never always lined up with the kids.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's awesome. I hope you guys have a great time, bro. Great celebration, of course. What I was going to say about Hayes Wilson is, even though this fight's been rebooked and you went through a couple opponents, Hayes Wilson is still a guy who can give you the opportunity to show that you're a very true contender in the heavyweight division right now, I believe. When you have rebookings and stuff, sometimes you don't end up with the same fight. But dude, you're right. It just goes to show in BKFC, everyone's tough. And like I said, this is a fight where you still have the full opportunity to show how good you are and how highly touted you are in this division.
I'm genuinely going to be looking to put my skill set on display this time around, as I always am, but even more so after the brawl and the fight that we had. I want to show that I'm not just a tough guy who can keep getting back up after he gets knocked down. I'm actually a skilled fighter as well.
That's a great way to put it. I'm looking forward to that. I wanted to ask you, I know you dialed in on Hayes Wilson completely, but what did you think when you saw Andrei Orlovsky come in, take out the champion? Now he's the champion of the division. He kind of came out of nowhere. He wasn't really ranked or anything before that, right? So what's your, I know I don't want to look too far, but what's your thoughts on
No, of course. I'm never looking past the target in front of me, but I'm also not living under a rock. I was at the Knucklemania in Philly live in person for that, and that was an amazing show. I would love to be on that card one day. I thought Ben looked very flat. He didn't look like his normal self. And Andre came in looking the best he's ever looked. and he was able to implement his game plan, and I think his mental strategy. I think he was inside Ben's head a lot, and I think that took a toll on Ben. He seemed to be hesitating on some of his punches he was throwing. Whether that was the case or not, I don't know. I'm only speculating, but that's the way it appeared, and Arlovsky was doing exactly what he's been doing for, a couple decades now, and just came out there and to become a champion and fight his fight.
And he did, yeah. That was a great fight. I want to keep on the topic of these cool events that BKFC puts on. You're talking about Knucklemania, but I'm thinking about that happens once a year, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep.
The cruise that they're talking about, and also the heavyweight tournament that they've always been talking about for a little bit now. Those are two really big things. Are those things that you'd be interested in?
Absolutely. I would absolutely love to be in that tournament. You know, I think that would be an opportunity to, one, not only kind of fast track myself to the belt even more so to speak.
Yep.
But who doesn't want an opportunity to win, walk away with $15 million? And the BKFC cruise, BKFSEA,
right,
is a nice play on words, and I think that's going to be quite a spectacle as well. It's going to be cool to have everybody on this cruise, and then do, I believe it's 3 back-to-back days of events where they're just going to have card after card after card, just rapid fire out like that. And I think that's also something to be said about how great this promotion is. They've got a ton of volume that they're putting out in terms of the number of events they put on every year. And there's never any lull in the action, so to speak. They're always exciting, and I'm just really excited to be a part of it and stake my claim in the history books with it.
There's endless cool things going on with BKFC, bro. A cruise is one of the coolest settings I've ever heard of for this stuff.
Yeah, I think the closest thing I've ever gotten to that is one time before, when I was fighting more locally and regionally, the XFC out of Florida did an event in Northern Cyprus. So we got to go all the way out to Northern Cyprus with a bunch of fighters, hang out on this beautiful resort, and they had the cage set up literally on the water. The backdrop was the Mediterranean Sea, and that was just wild. Yeah, that's a cool experience.
That's really cool. Let me ask you one last question, man. I think a lot of people know what they can expect, and you've told them what they can expect, but what could the fans in Mohegan Sun expect from you just 10 days from today?
I don't think it's going to get past the first round. I know it might sound like a broken record at this point with that, but you can expect better defense, not getting sucked into a brawl this time. I think he's going to be, he seems to be coming out kind of aggressive and really trying to push the pace, which I love. That's my MO as well. But I'm going to be ready to make the space that I need to keep myself at range. And of course, I'm plenty comfortable in the pocket. So if I'm having trouble finding that range, I got some tricks up my sleeve for that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Parker. I'm looking forward to the fight. March 28th, pack the house, Mohegan Sun, another headline. This is going to be a big moment. And listen, I'm telling you right now, I have a very good feeling that this year could be the year we see a bare knuckle champion here in Connecticut. And I'm telling you, check it out now. Don't jump on board when he's the champ. Check him out now.
Get in now on the ground level.
That's it, baby. Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you.
Of course.
Pleasure, brother.
Absolutely. Always, man.